I guess I could call myself a content creator. I mean, that's a fun word to say, or fun way to say somebody who just records silly things in hope to be noticed, I guess. I mean, in reality, that really is what it is. But why do we do that? Why would I do that? I mean, I feel like I have stuff to say and things to share, but I really don't know if I do. That's not true. I do have things to share. Today I have something different for you, something exciting. I just need to figure out where I'm going to set it up. It's in this box. Oh, here's a good place as any. You know, we live in a pretty awesome country. We live in a place where we can go outside and have some fun, set up some targets, and just, you know, enjoy our freedom. This is one of those days. So I want to shoot this, test this thing out, and then I want to tell you, it's just some things that have been on my mind. I think, I don't know, we'll get there in a minute. So, I just want to say thanks to the individual. Oh man, it's changed a lot down here. There's a bunch of dirt at the end of my range. That's new. It's been a while since I've been out here. I want to say thanks to the individual that brought this by to allow me to test. It's it's just an AR pistol with some accoutrement. Don't get too excited. This is a very cheap, very crappy, just a cheap optic. In fact, I want to do something different before we do this. Please hold. Inside this rifle, well, whatever. It's a pistol. You know what I'm trying to say. Inside this pistol is a little something that I've been really curious to test out. We'll start with one round. Now it's unsafe. Relax. This is a closed range. I have got backstops almost 360 degrees around me. I'm in a pit. This is totally safe. I'm not going to shoot over my 60-foot berms at the end of the range here, but I'm curious about this. I just need to test fire first. Hope I don't die. I'm not even going to turn the optic on. Maybe I should. This thing is such a piece of shit. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. It's so nice. Okay, so we know it ran one round safely. Let's try 5. Try 5. That's what they say all the time. Once we run through this, I didn't have my charging handle. Well, that probably looked silly on the video. Now let's try 3 rounds. You've probably already caught on to what's different about this guy. I hear noises. This optic sucks, but yeah. Now, for the YouTube warriors out there, this is not a fully automatic rifle. This is semi-automatic. I just pulled the trigger really, really fast. All right, so don't be concerned. Don't get your little undies in an uproar. Yeah. What do you say we dump the rest of this mag down there? Then we'll talk about what's going on. I'm pretty sure I didn't hit that target. Yes, I did, left side, but, well, I'll tell you about it later. It's not just me being a crappy shooter, okay? So let's do a couple numbers. Yeah, all those are actually, well, assume all of those are on target. So now you're thinking, okay, Steve-O, what the hell's going on? I can't tear down this rifle and show you because it's on the internet, or on the tubes. I might get in trouble. But again, this is not fully automatic. I can't even show you how I installed it, but it's the Hoffman Tactical Trigger Kicker. I was really curious to see how this ran, and it ran. It ran well. That was what did I have in there? 12 rounds altogether. It wasn't a full mag. Might have been 20 total rounds altogether. But I think that encourages another set of rounds downrange. Shall we? Let's see, what do I got in here? This is another probably 20 rounds in this mag. I can't be the only one that has partially loaded magazines at home. I'll just go for the same target. Should we just mag dump everything that's in there? Is that what we need to do? Is that what you guys are telling me to do? Is just dump the whole mag? Well, at least what's left of it. Okay, you talked me into it. I noticed that this forearm, the guard was getting a little toasty, which I think this is a Palmetto upper. It is. Let's try it out. Yeah, this is gonna get expensive. Locked back on that last round. Yeah, well, it works. It's fun. Yep, my wife's gonna love that. Cool beans, cool beans. Well, whoa, looks like I got some tightening up on some stuff to do. All right, let's let this pig cool down. And I just want to share a few things that was on my mind today as I was driving out here. You know, like I said, I guess I'm a content creator. I hate the term influencer because I kind of feel like that's associated to the world's oldest profession. And it seems like most of the time these influencers just share crap, right? It's an observation of the world as they see it, not as it is. I've been thinking a lot about, you guys know the allegory of the cave by Plato? You guys ever heard that? If you've taken any kind of philosophy classes, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't. So in Plato's Republic, a long book, if you want to read it or listen to it, totally cool, whatever. But in Plato's Republic, he's talking to a couple buddies, and he brings up the allegory of the cave. So the way the story goes is there's a few dudes that are inside this cave with their backs towards the mouth of the cave, so they're facing the darkest part of the cave. And they're chained up in a way that they can't turn their head, they can't move their feet, they're just focused, and they have to stare at the back wall of this cave. Now behind them at a certain distance, there's a group of other individuals that are kind of assholes. And they've started this fire, and they're casting shadows on the back of this cave. So these people that are chained up in this cave only get to see the shadows of whatever the individuals towards the mouth of the cave are showing them. So they could see a shadow of a dog or a shadow of a person or you know, whatever it may be. Now, the way the story goes is eventually one of these, I guess you could call them inmates, one of these individuals that are chained up is freed. And for some reason, he doesn't really want to leave excitedly. He's compelled to leave. He has to leave. Now, as he's leaving this cave, he sees these individuals that have been casting these shadows. And he sees that it was kind of a cruel trick that they were using statues or other things to cast the shadows of what they perceived was an actual object. See, the individuals that were chained up thought the shadow represented or was the reality of the object that they were seeing. As this individual, as he approached where this fire was and these individuals that were casting, he saw the statues and the cutouts and whatever other cruel thing that these individuals were doing. As he worked his way out of the cave, once he hit the sunlight, it hurt his eyes. He ended up looking at the sun for the first time, I guess, being enlightened. He saw not the statues of things or the perception of an actual object. He saw actual animals, actual people. He gained a knowledge that he couldn't have had being stuck inside that cave. Now, there's a lot of ways to look at this. I am not a philosophy major. I've probably butchered the story as it is. But there's a reason why I bring this up. The last episode of the podcast, I told you you were being lied to, that you were being fed a crock of garbage. And that's exactly how we live. A lot of us live in the cave and perceive the shadows of things as to being reality because that's what's being presented to us. And until we actively leave the cave and find the knowledge for ourselves, we're only going to be stuck in the perception of things that are cast on the wall inside that dark cave. That is how I see social media. That is how I see influencers, even people inside the 2A community. I probably fall into that same category at times where I share just enough information to you to make you feel like you've seen the reality of things. I think that's probably human nature. And if that's, I don't do that on purpose, by the way. And if I do, I completely apologize. But what I'm telling you is, never just take for face value what you see on social media, what you hear on the news, what you see in the papers, or does anybody even read newspapers anymore? Because that is just enough information to give you a perception of what reality is. It may not be the actual reality, but just the shadow perceived on the back of a cave wall. Hi. All right, you probably want to see how the target looks. You're not going to be impressed. You're not going to be impressed. I'm not going to pretend like I did some amazing magical shooting. In fact, I can't even point the camera at myself, let alone hit a target. Let's see here. What am I at? I didn't even count my steps. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. Nope, looks like I hit the clamp a few times. You can see the optic is definitely off to the left. I may have hit this a couple times. No big deal. That's what cheap tools from some boat harbor are for. I'm probably maybe 20 yards. Not even that. That can't even be that far. Let's talk about this pistol real quick, shall we? Put you guys back. Sorry for the bumpy ride. So this particular pistol, I don't think I can show you how to tear it down because you know how the rules get sometimes. You're not allowed to talk about things sometimes. Let's just pull this upper off. Disconnect the old slingaroo. So first off, let's look at this trigger kicker. Now it replaces your sear and spring. We're not going to get too in-depth into it. In fact, maybe I won't even show you any more than that. Look at Hoffman Tactical's videos. He explains it better than I ever will. Affordability is awesome. That's why I bought it. Availability might be a different story. Ooh, I have got to torque this tube down. The other thing I wanted to talk about, hopefully I don't lose my bolt here, pull the sling the rest of the way off, is this optic. Now, there's a guy, he's a mister and has, talks about guns and gear a lot. Had this optic on his YouTube channel. Super cheap. I think I paid $70 for it. Honestly, the purchasing side of it all, the buying side off, it's not off of his website, it directs you to another website. Kind of sucked. Almost like this charging handle, which shouldn't be because that's a bootleg. Yeah, the whole buying side of it was kind of a pain in the balls. Only to be more disappointed. And I knew for the price, I think it was $70. I wasn't expecting much. I actually have the real EOTech, and that whole thing is just loosey-goosey. Hear that? The thing I'm disappointed the most about it is it won't stay on 0. Yeah, we looked at the target. I could have just as been easily pulling it to the left, even though I was aiming center mass. It totally could have been me. The problem is with this reticle, I've shot this before on some other stuff, is that reticle just bounces around inside there. So airsoft, yeah, sure, cool beans, but that's not really as it was advertised. Am I pissed at this guy for shilling this on his YouTube video? Not really, because I knew I was gonna get something that was probably not amazing. But it's still fun. It's still fun. So, yeah. I'll tell you what, that Pro Comp, I've got the Surefire Pro Comp on here on the end. And for fast repeat shots, man, that muzzle rise was pretty minimal. Pretty minimal indeed. So, you're probably wondering, Steve, why did you even bring up the story or the allegory of the cave? And I kind of touched on it already. We already said, hey, social media, the news, all that stuff is designed to deceive you. We talked about that in the last episode of the podcast. But what we need to understand is, or we need to look at ourselves is as that individual who was freed from the cave. First of all, who freed him? It doesn't say that in the story about who unchained this guy in the cave. So that could be, I don't know. You probably should come up with the idea of what you might think an individual would be like to free somebody out of a cave like that. I guess it could be a teacher, professor, religious leader, parents. It could be a myriad of things. But really, actually, let's go back to this. Now, who do you think would be the representation of those individuals casting shadows on the cave wall? To me, that would be political leaders, social media influencers, the news, other people that are just partially informed that think they know everything. You just need to be careful what you're consuming. You need to fact check it. You need to double fact check it, and you need to come to your own resolution on things. Very rarely is the story that's being presented to you the story that's really happening. Fair enough? One last thing. Maybe we'll shoot some other rifles. I got to do some reloading here on the magazines. Is 250 years. 250 years ago, a group of brave and very intellectual men sent a breakup letter to the King of England. You see, the King of England was usurping his power in a way that was just so unfair to a people and a continent that he'd never been to people he'd never seen before, to individuals that had cast these cities built these cities in places that were rugged and untamed. I mean, yeah, we had Native Americans there that had already established civilizations in some way or other. Man, this thing's bouncing around all over the place. How's that? But it wasn't until we had this group of ambitious individuals that were striving for freedom, searching for a place where they could worship and work and attain things to keep for themselves and not for the crown. True independence. And these guys were not just willy-nilly, hey, I think we should try this. No. They were well-read, they studied history, and they knew about the republics of the past and what made them succeed and what made them fail. And then they drafted a constitution and gave this framework to the people in hopes that the people would stay educated and propagate this dream, this experiment of true liberty for generations. And so far we have. Now obviously, America is not perfect. I'm not going to pretend that we haven't done some things, that we don't have some skeletons in the closet. Obviously we do. I do feel like we've, as a nation, have repented for a lot of those things. But there are some other things that, we probably need to work on and resolve a little bit better. But we're not going to get into that. That doesn't matter. What matters is 250 years later, we have a republic that still stands as a beacon of hope, as a place where individuals can work hard and achieve something beyond what they thought they could achieve in their homeland. I'm a child of an immigrant. My dad came to America from Germany after World War II. He was a child, so he came with his parents, came with his family. But war-torn Berlin, I mean, you think about that. It's not hard to look up videos about what Berlin was like post World War II. There wasn't a lot of options. They were still cleaning up rubble. They were dealing with a bunch of the aftermath. There were still sympathizers hiding in the midst, causing disruptions. There wasn't a lot of hope for these individuals. Yet my dad's stepfather found it necessary to migrate to the United States. And I am eternally grateful for that. We live in a nation that is full of opportunity. Some of that opportunity includes risk, and sometimes it's failure. You can't mitigate failure and keep liberty in the same place. It's impossible. Because some of our choices just have consequences that are unfavorable. That's just how it is. But the opportunity for success and growth and future is something that's offered in no other nation. And those 10 initial rights that were spelled out in the Bill of Rights are there for a reason. We've talked about this before. It has nothing to do with what the government can give you. It has everything to do with what the government cannot touch. It is a restriction on the government to allow the people to succeed and to be free. I know you can talk about and say, hey, the founders were racists. They hated black people. You haven't done enough studying. You haven't. Look at Jefferson's first draft of the Constitution. But they weren't religious, Steve. They hated God. They were not atheists, but what's the term? Deists. They were deists, Steve. Funny when you look at their writings. They seem to believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God. Weird. They didn't see eye to eye, though. That's one thing you need to understand. These individuals were individuals. And that's the beauty of this country. We are not the same. You and me and the guy sitting on his toilet watching this too, we're not the same. Thank God we're not the same. That's what makes this country great. You see, when we all bring our talents together, that's where success happens. That's where success happens. I am so grateful that those men decided to write that breakup letter to the king. Now, 250 years later, we're still living that experiment. We're still experiencing that dream of liberty. My fear is that there's so many attacks on our rights. And I know, I'm a 2A guy, I'm an absolutist, I get that. But outside of the Second Amendment, there's attacks on your First Amendment rights, your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, your freedom to assemble, the right to face your accuser, speedy trial, no search and seizures without a warrant. All these things existed. All these things were put into this framework to protect you from the government. So if you have a desire to eliminate or erase any of these rights that were ratified, any of these amendments that give you liberty, you need to stop and think about what could happen once the government removes your ability to do things. Again, I'm a Second Amendment dude. I love guns. I love everything about guns. The smell, the mechanics, the beauty of the things themselves, shooting them. That it's such an amazing opportunity that we have in the United States that so many countries don't have that experience. They have a privilege. They have the privilege to go and shoot, but they don't have a right that tells the government, don't touch. And there's so many people out there now that want to just erase that Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights, not caring or maybe purposely doing it to eliminate our ability to keep the government in check. I know you think about the separations of powers just between the three branches of government, but really the biggest separation of power is your ability to keep the government in check via your Second Amendment rights. Your power to vote your elected officials out is so important, yet we look at it so flippantly. We address election day so apathetically as, oh, just a day to go make my voice heard, and then that's it. No, you are meant to participate in the government as a citizen to keep everything in check. Otherwise, it goes awry. I mean, think about this for just a second. If you have kids in daycare, would you take those kids to a daycare where there were no adults present? That place would be destroyed, turned upside down. That is exactly what is happening if we don't keep our leadership, our elected officials. I hate the term leadership because they're not our leaders. They're our representation. We're their leaders. And it's the proverbial daycare where if we don't get involved in the governmental system, they destroy it. They run amok. We see it in many states, many cities. And if we don't do something about it, it's coming to your town. And then we're going to wonder, what the hell do we do now? I don't want this video to be preachy, but it is. Sorry, Steve, you just made this thing preachy. Here's my call to action for you. First of all, it is the freaking 4th of July. Get out, express your appreciation to the founders, your love of this great country, the greatest country on earth. I don't care what you say. If you think otherwise, super cool, that's great. But I do believe the United States of America is the greatest country on God's green earth. No other country has afforded its citizens so many liberties as the old USA. Get out, get grilling, smoke a brisket, drink a brew, go shooting, enjoy some fireworks, car shows, whatever, parades. Do it, enjoy it. Spend that time with your families. Build those memories. Share your love of your community with members of your community. We're all in this thing together. There's no reason to be all bitchy and moany about stuff. It's the birthday party of the United States. Quit it. Go play. Have fun. I'm gonna go do some more shooting. But in the meantime, stay awesome. Because that's what the 4th of July is all about. Want to see me do more shooting? Okay. I gotta load some magazines, so damn it. Look at all this brass everywhere. It's like somebody had done some shooting or something. Brass everywhere. So, I recently replaced the trigger in my Glock 45 here. 9mm, not 45 cal. Unloaded. Hello. So, I just put a Timney trigger in this. I haven't shot it since I replaced the trigger. I don't think I have. Maybe I have. Let's put some rounds down range. I'm gonna shoot my other target that I set up. And I know all you internet cool folks out there are gonna tell me, your stance sucks, you're fat, why are you bald? Why are you still talking? Shut up, I'll do what I want. Let's go for center mass. Not bad. You'll just have to trust me. I wonder if I can hit the eye box from here. So those 3 are center mass. These are my targets. They're not quite USPSA type targets. They're a little smaller. So I put 2 in the A zone in the center mass. I dropped 1 in the B zone. I'm gonna try and hit the eye box, which is about the same size as a USPSA eye box. But from here, I haven't shot my handguns in a long time. Oh, missed. Pulled that one too. Man, I'm struggling today. Whoa, did you guys see that? See what happens when you slack off? You start to really suck. Oh my gosh, I about got scared to death. There's a rock down there. Holy shit. There's a rock down there in the berm. I'm telling you, it looks like somebody just sitting there. I hope that's not a body. I didn't notice that before, but oh my gosh, that scared the hell out of me. I'm pretty sure that's a rock, but oh my gosh. Wow. Really pulling everything to the left today. Yeah, I'm not showing you the target. Just rest assured, it's a mess. A hot mess. Hot garbage. That's what happens when you don't shoot for... See, I haven't really shot, I think, since the last real Winter League USPSA match here on my side of the state, which was February. Man, here I am in July. What a dope. There we go. There's the headshot I've been looking for. Now, some of you guys can hear when I assume, you can hear when I reset the trigger. So there's 2 things of thought here. So when I'm teaching a beginner's class, I tell people to do this. So I'm gonna do it one-handed so you can hopefully see. Can you see? So I tell them, okay, press that trigger back till the gun goes off, let it surprise you, blah, blah, and then keep your finger to the rear. And then when you feel the reset, hopefully you can hear this, then run that trigger again. Now, that's totally fine. And now if you're trying to be strictly accurate, you don't care about speed, totally cool. But if you want to speed up the cadence of your shooting, you're not going to ride that trigger to the back. So you're going to go bing. Oh, look what I just did. I rode that trigger. So let's try this again. So on the recoil, you see what I'm doing with my finger? Can you see it? Let's watch again. I won't do repeat shots. So watch this. So I'm gonna, well, watch this be the last round in the magazine. You see that? So what I did during the recoil is I reset that trigger. I'm not slapping my trigger. I'm still keeping in contact with my trigger finger. But as that recoils, that's when I'm resetting the trigger. So if you're wondering how to speed up, that's one way to take some time off your shots, off your splits. Now we really do need to reload. Reload again. Do you want to see me shoot the quick and dirty again? I don't. So I want to talk about something else real quick. So buying range gear can be daunting. It can be expensive. It can be really painful, especially if you have a budget that's tight like mine, and not in a good way. So this is my race setup for like when I'm shooting USPSA. Do you need an IFAK when you shoot USPSA? No. I just choose to put it on there just in case. And we've talked about IFAKs before. Get a good quality IFAK, especially on your range belt. Of course, I'm just gonna call myself a hypocrite here in just a second, but get a good quality IFAK that's got some tourniquets, got some things to take care of wounds that we don't want to ever deal with, okay? Now here's something else. I want to show you these mag carriers. You're going to see that, hey, they're not all the same color, Steve. They're kind of ugly. See that? It's because I 3D printed them. Now, you can buy mag carriers like this that I think they're not terribly expensive, but they're not as cheap as 3D printing. I promise you that. I'm probably into these, including my 2 AR mag pouches here. I don't know, $6 and some time, maybe a little bit more than that. So you can, if you have access to a printer, you can get some pretty cool stuff. Now, would I do that with a holster? Probably not. Are there 3D printable holsters out there? Yeah, I've never messed with them. I have no desire to, but there might be some good ones out there. I don't know. I think a holster, something that's retaining an important tool like a firearm, I'm probably not going to 3D print that. Could you do it out of carbon fiber, glass fiber, nylon? Sure, whatever, if you want. I don't want to. This one is a Safari Land. I've had this holster for quite a while. In fact, originally I'd taken the thumb safety retention thing off, right? So I can't remember what this is called. Don't judge me. That's just a level of retention, so you use your thumb to draw your firearm out of your holster. Great holster. I like Safari Land stuff. They're not cheap, but I also don't want my holsters to be cheap. Again, that's why I don't 3D print them. Magazine pouches, different story. Now my belt here, this is, I can't remember. I think this is a Condor. I don't remember. Let me see. Oh no, that's a Zero Foxtrot belt. I have a few of these because I thought I was skinnier than I was, and so I bought the wrong size first, and I had to buy another one. Cool beans. So I have two of these, one large, one medium, because again, I thought I was skinnier than I was. Good belt. Are there more expensive belts out there? Yeah, I think this one was $60, $70, which is really not that expensive for what it is. Is it the best quality? I don't know. Does it do the job? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I've shot 2 years worth of competitions on this belt, and I've never had any issues, except for the mag pouches were printed last year. That last year was the first year I shot with those. So cool idea, affordable. IFAKs, they're not gonna be all that cheap. You're gonna be, for a good one, a quality one, you're gonna be probably $175, if not more. Just trust me though, trust me, it's cheaper than a hospital bill or a funeral. So it's worth it. Now, I said the IFAKs are crucial. This is my other belt that I just set up. So I'm gonna unload my gun, just so you know. there's that. Let's, all right, so it's clear, right? You can hopefully see through it. Actually, let's keep that locked back. So this belt, same thing, 0 Foxtrot belt. I bought the right size on this particular belt because I learned from my experiences. Same thing, I 3D printed my mag pouches, put them a little bit closer together. I did set this one up also as an additional race setup because I have a 34 and I wanted to have something for my 17, which is that holster, and my 34. This, I can't remember what holster this is. I bought it off of eBay, if I remember right. I want to say Black Diamond, but I don't think that's actually a brand. Whatever. It was like 80 bucks, I think. So you can see it's not cheap, but it's definitely a more affordable way to go. I haven't run this particular setup in a match. I did some stuff to my 34. I put I dressed up the trigger in the 34 and I don't like it. So I should have brought that actually to shoot instead of my 45. So I'm just gonna run some quick holster drills. I'm not gonna use my shot timer. I'm just gonna, I tell you, that rock, it seriously looks like somebody, I don't know if you can see it. You won't be able to see it, but it looks like somebody is like sitting on their butt on the berm with their knees tucked up and like their head down on their, it is so freaky. Do I go look at it? I'm pretty sure it's just a couple of rocks stacked up, but my gosh, it's still messing with me. What did I do with my, where did I put that other mag? It's right here. Hence the purpose for a mag pouch. So we're gonna run just some one-shot holster drills. It's been a while. I'm not concerned about speed at the moment. I'm just worried about the motions, getting used to it, getting back onto it. Man. And why I let go so early, I don't know on that. Because you really need to get your sight picture. You want one more sight picture than a trigger press, if that makes any sense. So I'm just gonna come up super slow, boom, back on target, and you see I didn't reset it. And I jerked the trigger like a noob. And because it's been so long, I think I'm faster than I really am. I'm just so unpolished. It's a nightmare. How do you get past, or how do you keep that from happening, is you dry fire every day, which I haven't been dry firing either. My mind's been in so many other places that I haven't been worried about dry firing, which is wrong. I mean, if I think I'm going to be fast, then I should be. Oh, there is a fly on the target. Big old bug. I think he's right about there. Nope. Oh, so close to that thing. Come on, you little bugger. Oh, he moved. I must have hit just close to him. One day you're gonna have to answer for that bug. Probably. With my 17 that I'm just so used to, I could probably hit that bug from here. Oh, man, I'm shaky. Man, I am pulling to the left. So let's go to his right. Oh, close. Man, so anyway, Harry said I'm gonna work on holster stuff and I'm screwing around, which is the total fun thing to do when you're at the range. It's okay just to get some trigger presses out and have fun and get your head sunburnt from the sun because you didn't put your hat on, which you brought in your truck. It looks really good sitting on the console though. And I was just thinking, there's a lot of guys and gals that'll talk about your draw stroke, right? How do you present your firearm from your holster? I've taught this and done this so many times. I'm used to, and you're seeing me do it, I'm used to bringing my support hand up here as I bring the gun out and then press out with that gun. And there might be some other methods of teaching it, and maybe that is a standardized method. That's just something that I was taught years ago, and I just keep doing it because it's efficient for me to do. Are there other ways to do it? Sure. And you're seeing me and I used to work with this guy that would get so pissed if you looked at your holster putting your gun away. And to me, I would rather safely put my gun back where it belongs than try to ram it in there and maybe induce something I don't want to deal with at the hospital.
That's what she said.
Excuse me?
That's what she said.
Or here in the middle of nowhere. But you're going to see it's kind of a five step. So the same step, I'm going to put my gun, or my support hand, not my gun, support hand to my chest, and I'm going to wrap the webbing. I don't know if you can see. The webbing in my hand is going to go right on the heel of my firearm. I want it to go right where it needs to be, as far as up high and tight. I've shot fast on purpose one time, and I remember at the range I was working at years ago, my grip was a little high and I knew it was too high, and I even consciously thought, you're going to need to move that hand or you're going to get hurt. And then I consciously told myself, because I consistently talked to the voices in my head, nope, you're purposely going to get hurt, so you know not to do that again. And I did it on purpose. And yep, I got a nice slide bite on the web of my thumb, or my hand. Bled like crazy. I was actually surprised how much it bled. It didn't hurt. It was just, I don't know. What do you do? So 5 steps. Get back to what I was talking about. So step 1, my support hand's going to come to my chest, and I'm going to push down on the firearm in my holster. Step 2 is drawing that holster out of, or drawing the firearm out of the holster. Step 3 is I'm going to pivot. Now, in reality, at step 3, I could put my finger on the trigger I could put my trigger finger on the trigger. I'm not editing any of this, by the way, and let that one rip, because I know from here I'm in a safe place and I know what my backstop is. If this was a self-defense situation, you might have to consider what the options are. If a threat is extremely close and I know I have to take a shot from here, I'm going to take that shot from here. Would I do that at 20 yards? No, there's no point, because I have distance and time. So here I am at step 3, right? I'm pivoting. Step 4 is I start to project out, and my support hand meets my gun hand, I guess, if you will. And step 5, and between 4 and 5, I'm already taking the slack out of my trigger. So by the time I get to step 5, boom, I'm taking that shot. Now, if I'm coming back, if I want to holster at this point, I'm just going to do these steps in reverse, right? I'm going to come back to 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Again, I was telling you about the guy that would get mad if you looked at your gun putting away in your holster. He's an instructor. And I understand that he's worried about the threat downrange. And yes, you need to make sure that that's stopped before you put your gun away, because heaven forbid you get this training scar of putting your gun away and there's still something going on that's a threat to you downrange. Don't do that. But I do think it's okay, once you have assessed the situation and you're putting your life-saving tool away, I think it's okay to look at your holster. You guys might feel differently. And I admit there's times I don't need to look at my holster. But from doing USPSA matches, and I'm not an amazing shooter, by the way. I don't pretend to be. But because I'm so conscious about what the RO is going to say, I watch my gun go into my holster with my finger off the trigger. I have to make sure that these conscious things are taking place, because I don't want any accidents. I don't want to get kicked out of a match. And I just want to create good habits. So it's up to you. So all that long thing is going to say is I'm going to just work on some holster drills. So I'm just going to pull my gun, boom, speed up each one of those 5 steps, 1 round down range, put it away. Can I put my holster or my gun in my holster without looking? Yeah, probably. Again, I'm not really used to this particular setup, but I could probably feel where it goes without looking. Nope. See that? I don't want to fight it. Again, I haven't, this might be the 2nd or 3rd time I've used this belt setup, so I got to get used to it. So let's speed up a little bit. Feed the gun, assess threat. Okay, we're good. Now I can pick up my magazine that I dropped. You know, that's something else we should talk about. Let's pretend, I'll just use my finger gun here. Let's just pretend we're out shooting, or you're shooting at an indoor range, outdoor range, organized event, or with your homies out in the middle of nowhere. So let's just say, boom, you shoot something, and you do what just happened to me, mag ran dry, drop the mag, load the new one, and I just let the mag hit the ground. Now, if you notice what I did, I put my gun away first before I picked up that magazine. Is this a deal breaker? No, not necessarily, but what I want you to pay attention to is if you leave that firearm in your hand and you go down to pick it up, I mean, chances are that muzzle's going to drop to the ground, or what I have actually seen, somebody bends over and that muzzle goes straight back behind them, pointing at their friends, obviously in the wrong direction. And I don't know about you, if you remember or not, but that's one of the safety rules, is never pointing your firearm at something that you're not willing to destroy. And unless you really don't like that guy behind you, I doubt you want to shoot him. So just don't do it. So anytime you drop something at the range or an event or whatever, safe practice would be to either put that firearm, if you're at access to a booth or a table, put that firearm down, and if there is an RO, he'll tell you, say, yeah, go ahead and pick it up. Or if you're just hanging out with your homies, put the gun down, and then you can, or finish your string of shooting and then pick it up. But you don't want to just keep that gun in your hand. There's a term, sympathetic reflex. I don't know if you guys have heard that or not. Sometimes if we're squeezing one hand, we also squeeze the other hand. And you can see how that could be dangerous if we're flinching or something, grabbing something, and we're not paying attention to where our trigger finger is. It could be detrimental. It could be a really bad day. So these are just my little range thoughts. Happy little thoughts. Dude, I'm not kidding you. That rock is throwing me off.
Shut up, bitch!
I want to leave one loaded mag in this this setup. Shall we shoot the AR? Shall we shoot this other rifle? You're gonna see that I'm the king of cheap. This is not a D-ball. This is a piece of trash. I think this is a Temu, actually. We'll get to Temu later. So yeah, does it look cool? No. Is it gonna last? Probably not. Is it fun just to test stuff until it breaks? Yes. And at whatever it was, 60 bucks, if it functions like it should, how cool would that be? Let's load this up. And unfortunately, the rules of a large video sharing site, I don't even think I can show you how to load an AR magazine. I guess I could say it this way. You don't need to is this one still on? Are you still here? So you can see the mouth, these are called feed lips, okay? Feed lips. Now, you don't need to do what I see a lot when it comes to an AR magazine and start here, push down and slide back. You can actually just set that round right on top between those feed lips and push straight down. It's okay. It's gonna work. Again, I don't think I can show you this because apparently it's dangerous. I can't, I don't, you know, YouTube's funny. They change their rules so often that I don't know what I can and can't share. I still have a strike on my channel. Not because I shared something violent, not because I showed you how to load an AR magazine, because I talked about something that happened a couple years ago that was like a worldwide sickness, and I shared a video of somebody else saying something, and which happened to be true, by the way. It was accurate, but because they hadn't changed their rules, or their video people didn't like it, or the algorithm thought it was something I shouldn't say, I got my pee-pee slapped. And I mean, it is what it is. It absolutely is what it is. But you know, they are a private company. They can set their own rules, and when you set up your YouTube account, you agree to the terms of service. Is it frustrating? Yes. But what do you do? All right, let's, I'm not sure how many I put in here. It's been a hot minute since I shot this rifle. I don't even know if I've talked about this rifle before. So this is this a Diamondback? No, it's not Diamondback. It's a DPMS. I picked up this rifle used, and it did not have this paint job on it. So that is rattle can, and you can kind of see from when I clean it. I actually primed this first and then did the whole rattle can finish. I actually kind of like the battle worn look. The primer is actually holding up so well, and you know, if the rattle can camo comes off, I just spray it again. So what? Big deal. The nice thing is when you rattle can your own stuff, is you can match, come on you stupid reticles, flap covers, you can match your terrain, your local area. So I live in the high desert, and I can match the colors right to the desert. So I mean, could I change my targets? Yeah, I could. But am I going to? No, I'm not going to. What is that over there? So still trying to hit that fly. I think it's a fly. Believe it or not, it is still on the target downrange here. I wonder if my laser let's see. I don't even know what button does what. I thought. Well, son of a bee. Oh well, what do you do? Oh, such a good smell. So there is This pit is like 260 yards across, I think. And I'm not all the way to the entrance, so I'm probably 210 yards to the back wall. And there is either spray paint or like a milk jug way down there on the other side of the pit. So I'm going to try to use, headcam, that is right on. Empty. So it's nice to see that Spark AR is still on 0. I actually really do like this little optic. It's pretty awesome. That's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
Hold down for 5 seconds, turn it off. You're gonna be like, Steve, you only shot whatever amount of shots out of that. Yeah, I just want to make sure it's still dialed in. And I'm probably gonna go. Like I said, it's the festivities for this time of year start this afternoon. My wife and kids want to go on a hike, which I'm not really excited about, but whatever, we'll do it. I'm gonna clean up my mess. Unless you want me to shoot some more. I mean, a bad day shooting is better than a good day at work. I'm gonna load up some mags because I hate leaving empty mags, just in case. I'm a worrywart. Do you think I can hit that same thing with my 9mm Glock way down there? Is this a responsible shot? Yep. All right, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be way to the left. Just judging how I've been shooting today. No, actually. I'm just actually, dude, that was like, I'm surprised. That was super low. I pulled that one. Last thing, I'm gonna end up finishing this on that stupid paint job target thing down there, and maybe go look at that rock because it's still throwing me off. Do I shoot with both eyes open or do I shoot with one eye open? And that is something I get asked a lot, actually, surprisingly a lot. My answer is yes. Yes, I do. So depending on what I'm doing, I'm either closing my weak eye or I'm keeping both eyes open. How do I justify when I do either or? So if I am in a match and I'm looking at targets and I'm shooting fast, I keep both eyes open. Honestly, I don't hardly even see my sights when I'm shooting a match. If that makes no sense to you, I'm sorry. If you've shot a match, you understand what I'm saying. I see my sights, but I don't really look at my sights. Everything is at a close enough distance. I don't have to really get a good solid sight picture because I know how my gun feels and I know how to make a quick reference to create a sight picture. If I'm cutting cards or shooting at a knife blade, that's called foreshadowing, by the way, I close my weak eye. I put all my energy really concentrating on my sight alignment, my sight picture, and then a clear front sight focus. Because I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. In a defensive situation, you're not going to close both eyes. You're just not. I don't think your body would allow you to close both eyes, one eye. Don't close both eyes. Maybe you would close both eyes. But I think in a defensive situation, you're probably not going to close your weak eye. You're going to either keep both eyes open or shut them in fear. So work with keeping both eyes open the best that you can. How do you get a clear sight picture? The first thing you have to do is understand which what eye dominance you have, whether it's your left or your right eye. It is not uncommon if you are left eye dominant and right-handed. Some people think, well, I'm right-handed, so I'm right eye dominant, or I'm left-handed, so I'm left eye dominant. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. So to define your eye dominance, the way I would teach people is both eyes open. You're going to extend your hands way out there, and you're going to focus on something small. So in this case, I'm going to look at my target clamp that I shot too many times and is falling off of my target. I'm going to put both eyes open, hands out in front of me, and I'm going to make a nice small opening through my hands. There's other ways to do this. This is the simplest way I can describe it to you. So small opening, I'm just going to focus on that, and I'm going to bring my hands together, and then I can still see that object, in this case my clamp, and I'm just going to bring that to me. Oh, look at that. Boom, my right eye. If you focus on that small object small, and you make that opening in your hand small, and you just slowly bring your hands towards your face, it's going to go towards your dominant eye. If you're left eye dominant and right-handed, some people really struggle with this philosophy. I'm not sure why. Just move the gun over to your left eye. Like, boom, that's it. If you're shooting rifles, I get it. That can be a little bit more of a struggle, especially scoped rifles. Some people tend to lean their face over the rifle in hopes to look through their dominant eye. You're just going to have to either get a left-handed rifle or shoot left-handed, which kind of sucks on the AR type platform. It's not that bad. Or you really work on looking through the right eye if you're right-handed, or the left eye if you have a left-handed rifle. It is a struggle for some folks. I have seen the whole eye dominance thing be a deal breaker for people when they're shooting handguns, when it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. Just focus on your sights. If you're left eye dominant and you're right-handed, just bring that gun over to the left side of your face and shoot. Or if you're left-handed and right eye dominant, it's okay. It is not rocket surgery. You can get it figured out. And then you're not having a crummy day at the range. So I'm going to try and shoot that target way down yonder a couple more times. Make sure it's not moving. That'd be it's terrible, wouldn't it? I think I need to be right about there. Oh, I was to the right. Whoa, way to the left. I wonder, can you see that down there? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Look through my watch here. I'm using my watch. That's the one thing about Apple products. Like them, hate them, whatever. I can use my watch to see what I'm looking at when I'm recording a video on my phone. I'm doing my fancy camera and my phone at the same time. So I don't know if you can see that. My watch doesn't seem to be working. Let's go about there. Bing. Dude, my windage was perfect, but elevation was high. That was just to the left of it. That was so close. That was right on it. Low. I don't know. That one I jerked like a crazy person. And that last shot was low. Okay, kiddos. That's it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If you like this type of content, where I just hang out at the range and talk and shoot, like, share, comment, blah, whatever else. If you want to hear more serious or see a more serious side of the content, where I'm in the studio and just chit-chatting, sharing, pouring my little heart out, you can subscribe to the podcast as well. I'm going to throw this video on the podcast YouTube channel anyways, because we talked about some things and had a good time. A couple things I just need you to remember. I need you to stay free. Then I need you to stay safe. And then, as always, stay range-minded. Stay range-minded. Okay? All right, I gotta clean up my mess. My wife's gonna be pissed. So I mentioned that rock that kept distracting me, and I can't see it very well. Yeah, it would be that one. That one right there. I know it's nothing, but I'm telling you from back here, it looks like somebody just hunched over there, sitting in the dirt pile. It freaked me out.